This was my kitchen tap. Now this is my brand new setup from waterdrop. So, nice new tap. Oh, digital display. What is it? Why am I installing this? So why am I installing it? Well, this is UK tap water, which is pretty awful. And I want some nice, pure, water filtered water. This is reverse osmosis water filter. So it's going to be the purest, cleanest, crispest water. And also, I can throw out the kettle because it's also got a hot water boiling point. It's not really for a filler, it's more of a secondary tap. But I don't need to really have a filler because under here, I've got my dishwasher. So I want a tap for drinking and making cups of tea because we're British. So obviously before we do anything, we're going to get the scrub daddy and we're going to give the tap hole a clean because that's one area that if you're going to be putting in a new tap, you're going to get that clean before. So first off, we need to make some space for our water filter. So I've just raised the shelf up just slightly so that I can fit this underneath. And it'll sit perfectly at the side of the unit. It actually doesn't really take up too much space. So obviously you could drill through the worktop, or you could drill through if you wanted to do a secondary tap and put one next to it. But we're going to be using the existing hole, and this is a little shroud that we need to put on and make sure our pipes go through that. Don't forget this bit because that'd be silly, wouldn't it? So what do we need to drop through? Well, we need to drop through our insulated hot. We also need to drop through our filtered cold. We also need to drop through the electronics cable for the digital display. So now for one of the more trickier parts of the installation is we need to put this back nut on. So we need to feed everything through there, and we need to tighten up the back nut. Oh, there's nothing like doing jobs in your own house. Right, so now that's in the position that we want it, we can swing all the way around to both bowls. And now I can start looking at the connections, which are pretty easy because one of them's a drain, one of them is your hot, one of them says pure, which is obviously pure water. Colour coded as well to make it even easier. Well, these couldn't be any easier because they're just push fit connections. So put your pipe in, push it in, make sure that it's pushed in home. And then you have these tiny little retaining rings, just like any sort of speed fit fitting. That stops it from being able to pull out. So as you can see, there is a third hole. It's this grey one, it's all colour coded. It does say caution hot water. That's because this is like a discharge pipe. Well, not like a discharge pipe, it is a discharge pipe. Now, before I'm able to actually push this into its new home, we obviously need to put the connection on. Now, it can only go one way. It doesn't twist. There's only one way it can go on. Screw the retaining locking nut over like this. And all we've got to do, push that back in place. And that's where that's going to live for now. Right, so how do we actually plumb this thing in now? We've got our last hose that we need to sort of connect up. Apart from the discharge, it's a 1/2 inch connector. Now, it does have some adapters. Let me show you the adapters. So here's one of our little adapters. There is an option. So you can see you've got an arrow. And if you was using this as a secondary tap, this works as a T. And then if this was going up to a tap, you might have a tap with a 3/8 thread. So it's got your 3/8 flat faced as well, so you can screw directly onto that. We're not going to need that because most taps in the UK are 1/2 inch, and in our case we don't need this at all, so I can just put a 1/2 inch cap straight onto this. Now, I would recommend with any rubber connection you need to put it onto a flat faced ISO or a flat male thread. So now we are all connected up, as you can see that little valve in the back there with that little T. We're all done. So all we need to do now, and I quite like this as well, that there's little markers, indication markers, so you know that you're pushing everything home completely, look, see? So we're nearly there. You've just got to do this discharge pipe. Now you can see you've got a 1/2 inch clamp. In fact, I'm going to put it there, yeah? So I'm just going to be using a drill bit. There we go. Right. So we've got our hole, which is more than we need. Right, we're going to clean that up quickly. Then we need to remove the sticky back stickiness. Placing it over the hole we created and just rubbing that down. Now all you need to do is just look down there, make sure you line the hole up exact, and then just tighten up these clamps. So now that our discharge is all set up, now all we have to do is plug it in. Look at that, it's just a 3-pin plug. So you can see we turned it on, and there's a 60-second countdown, and what that's doing is that's just purging the tap with cold water. That's just going to clean out that filter. So let's see what comes out, eh? Ooh. It's coming through a bit dark at the minute, so we just need to let that finish its cycle. Not normal tap water, it's got a yellow hue to it, hasn't it? It's actually picking it up on camera a little bit.
100% actually.
It's literally murky, the original tap water, and then there's our new filtered water. So, taste test. Right, so, normal tap water. Just tastes like water, to be fair. Esmar's miles better. In fact, I want to go back to the normal tap water. It's horrible. Check the link in the bio, and it's right there. Ah, there we go. Ah, right, so you got to unlock it. We got boiling water coming out of our tap, look. Look at that. Perfect. Wow. There we go. Filtered boiling water for the perfect cup of tea.